Hello, everyone. This is part one of session 19 of Pre-Socratics to Augustine, also called History of Philosophy 1. We are now talking about Aristotle's Metaphysics, and we are talking about the first sentence or the first paragraph of the first book of the Metaphysics. Now, the books of the Metaphysics are sometimes referred to not by book 1, book 2, book 3 by numbers, but rather by Greek letters. So, book one of the Metaphysics is Metaphysics Alpha. Alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet. So, we are talking about the very beginning, about, as scholars would put this, Metaphysics Alpha. And that is possibly one of the most famous sentences in philosophy as a whole, namely the sentences, all human beings by nature desire to know. And even people who are not particularly interested in ancient philosophy, you will hear them cite that sentence often in celebratory speeches. And the sentence is taken to be, somehow wonderful. It says something really beautiful about human beings, that by nature we all desire knowledge. We all desire to know. And for us, we should kind of step back and not just take it as, that is a great thing to say about human beings, and it is sort of suitable for ceremonies when we want to say beautiful things. But we should ask, what is it that Aristotle is saying? Is it somehow a response to Plato? And what is his evidence? Now, you might think, if you think back to Plato's Republic and the contrast between philosophers who love all knowledge and the so-called lovers of sights and sounds, you might think that Plato does not share Aristotle's view kind of at all. That Plato would say most people love sights and sounds, just sort of the beautiful goings on in the world of perception. They love to go to the movies and they love to listen to music. And those are the things that they find beautiful. And they don't acknowledge that there is such a thing as the beautiful. They don't, more generally speaking, acknowledge that there are theoretical objects and kind of an understanding of higher, non-perceptible objects. So on that reading, Plato would not share Aristotle's view that all human beings desire to know, and hence we need to look really closely. What is it that Aristotle is saying, and what is his reasoning? Now, he says that evidence for our desire to know is that we all love sense perception. We love the senses, and in particular, and more than anything else, we love sight. And we love it not just because it is useful, we love it for its own sake. We love to see the world. And then he offers a kind of scale of cognitive achievements and faculties that human beings have. Sense perception we share with animals. The next capacity is memory, and we share it with some animals. And the animals that have memory and sense perception, they can be taught. Those who don't have memory cannot be taught. The next achievement is experience. An even higher achievement is expertise or techne, the term that we already met with earlier on in the semester, which can also be translated as art or profession or, any kind of expertise in some field. And then there are higher and higher and higher kinds of expertise. And Aristotle argues that an expertise is the higher, the more it is concerned with the why, with explaining and understanding why things are the way they are. And in another expression, the more things are concerned with first principles and first causes. Now, we'll talk a lot more about causes and first principles next time. For now, I want to lay out two assignment options today because the beginning of Metaphysics Alpha is so famous that there simply are two things that you need to think about because they are much debated. One is the kind of contrast between Plato and Aristotle here that I already mentioned. Aristotle says we all love knowledge, and the evidence for that is that we love vision and sense perception, which according to this scale of cognitive faculties is a kind of beginning. that leads us to higher cognitive achievements. And then you might think that Plato's position that, well, we don't all love knowledge. Many of us actually love just sensible particulars would be compatible with the observation that we all love sense perception. So you might wonder whether Aristotle's argument for his claim would be compelling from Plato's point of view, or whether it would be equally compatible with Plato's point of view. So that is the first option for homework assignment for this section. The second option is simply to think about the claim that perception is a kind of knowledge. That comes up in, Aristotle's rationale for his claim that we all love vision. He calls vision a kind of gnosis, knowledge, and he speaks of eidenai, one of the Greek words for knowing. So the thought is that sense perception is a kind of knowledge. And from the point of view of what we have studied so far, the point of view of Parmenides and Plato, that is a really radical thing to say. So the second option for your homework assignment is simply to think about that. How can we understand the claim that sense perception is by itself somehow knowledge?